Hey, good morning, everybody. So I finished filling in the base the other day. Uh, Fortunately, it was perfect timing because we've had 2 days of rain, pretty heavy rain. So it was nice to kind of let the stone get kind of wet and compact a little bit. But now what I'm going to do is go back and dig the 3 trenches to meet my eye bolts on the inside so that I can stretch that galvanized wire across. I just dug this little trench right here, and then I'm going to dig the other two as well. I'd like to do all three of them at the same time. That way they're all the same. I don't change my mind midstream. But pretty easy. I mean, I have a feeling once I plate compact this, I'm probably going to push it down another 3 inches. So my hope is that like I can kind of compact a little bit where the wire's going so that when I plate compact it, and it's a thin wire, so even the stone would probably go around it, but I really don't want to put too much force down on the wire like there's an empty hollow space underneath of it because I don't want it trying to pull the frame in, which I don't think it will do. I think there'll be just enough love in that cable with me hand stretching it to kind of be able to compact around it with the stone and then kind of backfill and like plate compact, so on and so forth, but still have that tension in there that I need, that if I do need to pull the frame together, that screw on both sides would actually pull it together an inch or two. So as you can see here, I kind of have the one trench dug down to where, let me show you, the eye bolts are. So there's one. And then there's the other one right there. And then basically I'm just gonna eye up where they are on the outside of both of those and dig the trenches across, and then we'll get started putting the wire. Let's stretch some wire. So I'm all finished up. I probably could have pulled them a little tighter if I used like a ratchet strap or something, but I'm hoping that I never even have to tighten these. My hope is that when this all gets plate compacted and sort of additionally pushes that wire down a little bit and sort of tightens it up, that really it's just going to be enough to hold the frame from going anywhere. You know, the idea of being able to adjust it was just my idea of, you know, a little help for myself down the road. But my hope is that these three will just be just enough tightness with the rock all stuck on it, the eye bolts in there kind of acting as anchors, that really it just keeps that base from spreading. And again, since this building won't have a floor, you know, I don't think there'll be as much outward pressure since there's no one really walking on a floor pushing the rock to then kind of, again, compact the foundation to push that lumber out. But we'll kind of see as we go on. I mean, once I put the building up, it gets rained on, a little bit of snow, a couple of years goes by, we'll kind of see. But I was going to backfill this, but it's going to rain again this afternoon into tomorrow. So I think what I'm going to do is just let the open trenches get rained in, let that water sink down, a little bit more compaction for that modified. Then I'll come back and put the berms back on top of everything. Once I plate compact this, I'm going to probably push down 2 or 3 inches. So it's not going to make a difference whether or not I, push this all back at this point. So I'm going to let it rest right there, go get some lunch, and I guess I'll catch up with you guys when I catch up with you guys. Peace. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Good morning. About 38 degrees right now. Temperature's definitely starting to drop. I know winter's coming, but we're making some good headway on the base for the accessory building. It's all backfilled. I spent yesterday, I don't know if I videotaped anything, but I spent yesterday basically just add maybe about 15, 20 extra wheelbarrows to sort of round off the top so that when I plate compact, I don't lose that much and have to go back and do too much backfilling. But I also left this morning and picked up a plate compactor. Maybe I'll do another video on just where I feel like the world is right now on everybody's shitty attitude. But I'm so tired of being pigeonholed into having to use companies because there's no other choice. But I've decided I will support them as minimal as possible. At this point, I'm almost willing to buy a $500 machine and just rent it to other homeowners for dirt cheap, then pay some of the ridiculous prices and get the crap service that you get. It's ridiculous. But I picked up a plate compactor this morning and I just took it off the truck. So let me show you kind of what I'm gonna get into. So the base looks great. I'm kind of bubbled over maybe about 2 inches. I did basically backfill those foundation wires that I showed you guys, those 3 trenches that I dug to put the kind of like a post tension cable system in there, sort of a generic version of it just in case down the road I may need it. And then there's the plate compactor. I'm basically just going to set up the camera and start compacting the base. I'm going to get out my buddy's site level so I can start checking things as I'm going around. And, basically pretty straightforward. I'm going to plate compact it and backfill until I get this thing, pretty much level with the lumber, if not maybe sitting just above. And then hopefully after all that, maybe a rain or two, and we can start building on top of this bad boy. So I'm going to set the camera up and pretty much get right to it because I'm sort of limited for time today. I certainly don't want to have to keep this plate compactor any longer than I need to because it's already too expensive. I'm going to hopefully use the backhoe to drop some of the stone into the wheelbarrow like I was doing before. Hopefully that'll speed up the process if I wind up, plate compacting, more than 2 inches below the frame. But I think it'll be okay. It's about maybe 8:15 in the morning. I headed out around 6:30 to grab everything I needed so that I was set up and ready to go. So we're just going to get started. Should be a beautiful day this afternoon, maybe high 50s, which I will take. So we're just going to get rocking and rolling. And if the camera doesn't catch anything, I'll make sure that I come back later and show you guys what's going on. But I mean, what it looks like right now is hopefully what it'll look like when it's all done. We'll just be all cleaned up and ready to build. So I'm going to get rocking and rolling. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. So that wasn't too bad after about maybe, what, 15, 20 minutes? So now I'm gonna bust out the my buddy's site level, see if I can start finding the highest spot and maybe build up to that. But so far, so good. So yesterday when I was finishing up the base, I realized that the phone ran out of storage and I hadn't looked at it for like 45 minutes. So I don't know how much I really recorded or how much you guys got to see, but I did finish everything up. I used the Godzilla to crane the plate compactor back into my truck and got that back on time, so it didn't cost me any extra money. So I thought I'd bring you up and show you what it looks like. Check it out. Nice and flat and compacted. I also don't know if I was able to get much of me like shooting the grade with the laser level, but I basically used my buddy's site level to basically just walk the perimeter and check everything, and we were pretty much spot on all the way around when I was done. So I wound up having to put in maybe another, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 wheelbarrows to kind of like top things off, and just basically around the edge, and then just a thin layer in the middle because that was pretty good. And then I just basically raked everything in like you might see in the video, plate compacted it probably 3 or 4 times, and I think it turned out really nice. Probably the flattest spot on the whole homestead. But we are pretty much ready to start building at this point. So I'm very excited. This has been a long time coming, as I'm sure you guys know. I've probably listened to me talk about this accessory base a million times since we started this entire process, but I'm very happy with how things turned out, and I'm very excited to start building. So it's supposed to rain the end of this week for about maybe 3-4 days. So as I kind of gather my material list together to get an estimate, I'll probably pull the trigger on ordering all the materials to get delivered sometime maybe the beginning or middle of next week, so that I can get started maybe like Wednesday or Thursday on building. So maybe like a week from today we should start being able to get some walls up and rock and roll. I am so excited that eventually that cistern will finally be in its resting place. It has literally been hanging out here for a couple years. I don't want to say I got ahead of myself, but I probably got ahead of myself, although I'm glad I did, because it's even more expensive now, and the freight that they charge you is sort of where they make up their loss in money. But You know, last time I looked, it was like $850 in freight just to get that thing, which is absolutely ridiculous. I would suggest if anyone has a trailer, just get it yourself. But I am very happy, like I said, with how this all turned out. The wall looks really nice. I'm going to go back and sort of use some of the stone to kind of fill in a lot of these gap places that, you know, I basically can't fit a rock in, or like a boulder, but I can basically use the stone to kind of make everything look really nice. And then I'm gonna also go back with some of the stone that I have left over, and basically now that it's gotten rained on and all that kind of stuff, find some spots that I can shimmy some rock in there to close up some of these gaps. I mean, it's fine how it is, but I figured I would just take some time to make it look a little nicer on the outside. But yeah, we're ready to build, baby. This is huge. Once I get the cistern on there, I basically can start working on what the water collection is going to be. I really didn't want to go nuts until I finished the building, because I feel like a lot of times you plan and it ends up changing, so the plan doesn't really work. So at this point, I'm just going to wait until we get the walls up, get the cistern in there. The idea for me is back wall first, then the two sides. That way, with the back wall and then, like, let's say a left wall going up, I can shoot them together and don't have to have anything hold them. Then I can stand my right wall up, shoot it, don't have to have much bracing, because remember, there's really no subfloor, so I don't have much to shoot into. And so back wall, side walls, and then I'm going to take the cistern into the back of the building. Then I'll put my front wall up, then I'll bring the cistern into place. But the ultimate goal here is that the door on the front will just be a sliding and adjustable barn door that's hopefully just about 9 by 9. That way, down the road, if for any reason I had to replace the cistern or take the cistern out, the cistern won't have any problem getting out that door, essentially with me not sawzalling it in half. But there it is. I appreciate you guys listening to me banter about this thing for the past bunch of years, but it is actually coming to fruition. And a little tiny bit of rock left. I'm going to spread some in the driveway down here. And then I think what I'm going to do is, instead of backfilling that chicken coop all with dirt, I think I'm going to take some of the stone and fill the deep end. That way, essentially, I can also put some, once the rock gets up to the bottom of the lumber, I can put some hardware cloth in there to kind of keep any critters from digging in and coming in from underneath the chicken coop. But that's where we are. I just wanted to bring you guys up and show you. I'll probably throw in a couple of pictures here in the end, but as always, we appreciate you guys checking out the videos and stopping by to check out the channel. This has been a long time coming, so stick around. Hopefully next week we'll get started on the accessory building, and that'll be a lot of fun. Should be a pretty straightforward building. Not much going on there. T111 sides, metal roof, all that good stuff, but ultimately that's our maintenance building. So cistern goes in there, all the solar. You know, you'll see me basically, I'm going to trench over from the house here. Right now you can see I just have the disconnect on the side of the house with the generator outlet. That'll all get disconnected, and then we'll trench over and run some number 2, and we'll have all of our panels in here as well. So that'll all be what hooks up to the solar. So this is going to be a huge deal for us to pretty much get in the house full time. So as always, like I say, thank you for stopping by. I guess we'll catch you guys on the next video, man. Stay fly.